In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated upon a throne, high and lifted up. And the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their face. With 2 they covered their feet. With 2 they flew. And one cried to the other, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." And the foundations of the threshold shook, and the house was filled with smoke. 7 glimpses of God in these 4 verses. Number 1, God is alive. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. The king is dead. God is not. From everlasting to everlasting, you are God, the living God. He was alive forever when this universe exploded into existence. He was alive when Socrates drank his poison. He was alive when William Bradford ruled over the Plymouth colony. He was alive in 1966 when Thomas Altizer said, "God is dead," and Time magazine absolutely absurdly put it on their front page. And he will be alive in 10 trillion ages of years when all of those who have lifted their squeaky voices against him are obliterated like BBs in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. He is alive, and he will be alive forever. All the potentates that are on their little thrones today, in 50 years will be no more in those offices. The 7 billion people that are alive on planet Earth will experience a complete turnover in 120 years, and God will be alive. He is alive. Think of it. Forever, never having come into being, never going out of being. Our God is alive. Number 2, God is authoritative. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne. There has never been a vision of God in heaven plowing a field, cutting his grass, shining shoes, filling out reports, or loading a truck. And heaven is not coming apart at the seams for inattention. He is sitting. Complete composure and on a throne. God is never at wit's end. With his heavenly realm, he sits. He is in complete authority. The throne signifies his right to rule the world. You don't give God authority in your life. He has it. Totally. You can either pretend he doesn't and perish, or you can own it with joy. He has, in the universe, absolute authority. God has authority, and we revel in it. We don't play games with this. We don't question him. We don't criticize him. We don't call him into question or shake our fist at him. We may weep with utter perplexity if he takes our child, breaks our husband, but we won't rebel against our King. He is the Supreme Court of the universe, the legislature, the chief executive officer. Behind him, no Glimpse number 3. God is omnipotent. The throne of his authority is not one among many. It is high. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, meaning over every other throne, and thus superior in power, superior in authority, superior in rule and control over every other throne. It is high and lifted up. It's not just an authority, it is authority with supremacy of rule. My counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose, Isaiah 46:10. He does according to his will in the host of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. None can stay his hand or say to him, "What are you doing?" Daniel 4:35. Glimpse number 4. God is resplendent. I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. So he has a robe and it has a train. You've seen brides, and some have incredible trains so that when the photographer does the pictures, they take a half an hour to arrange the train. And it flows down over the steps and up onto the platform. You've all seen them. Well, picture it flowing down the aisle, covering all the pews, going into the choir loft, up over the balcony. That's what we're supposed to feel. He is resplendent. There are about 1,000 different kinds of self-illuminating fish at the bottom of the ocean. And why didn't the Lord just make one of those instead of 1,000? Because he is lavish in his beauty, lavish in his creativity, and lavish in his splendor. He is resplendent. Glimpse number 5. God is revered. Above him stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. We grope for pictures of what it would mean for God to have in his presence beings who, when they speak, shake heaven. But I remember as a boy, there was a team of 4 jets called the Blue Angels that flew in formation. I saw them in person just one time, and they suddenly appeared here and must have broken the sound barrier right in front of us. You know, it felt like several hundred yards away. And the lead plane, going, 600-700 miles an hour, went straight up, vertical. And the others peeled off like that, just as they broke that barrier. And I thought, well, maybe it's like that. But the point is, these magnificent creatures cannot look directly upon God. They take their wings and they cover their face. And the shame that these are sinless beings. They've never fallen. And they're ashamed of their feet before this God. So they can't see him straight on, and they've got to cover their feet, and they're going to keep moving around him. God is revered. Glimpse number 6. God is holy. What these beings are saying in this vision is one called to another, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." The very godness of God means He is separate from all He has made. There is an infinite qualitative difference between God and everything else that is. All of that is made and dependent upon His second by second upholding it in being. He is who He is. What, Moses asked, shall I tell them is your name? Tell them, I am who I am. Tell them, I am sent you. That's my essential being. I am, and I'm not dependent on anything outside of me. All of you are totally dependent on me. I'm not dependent on anything. I am separate. The more rare a diamond is, the more valuable it is. And if there's only one of this kind, it's valuable. The most important value in the universe is not you and not your family and not 7 billion human beings and not billions upon billions of galaxies. We are as nothing, a drop in the bucket compared to the value of God. And the main problem in the world is the failure to feel that. God is infinitely valuable. He has infinite worth. There is no questioning anymore whether He has any rights. We have none. And we had none before we fell. Humans and angels don't have rights before their Maker. God is right and has all rights. He defines right. He is right and holy. You will know that you have experienced something extraordinary when that is sweet to you. One more glimpse. God is glorious. The glory of God in God's mind and Isaiah's mind and most places in Scripture, I believe, is the manifestation of the holiness of God. God's holiness is His incomparable perfections, His intrinsic, infinite worth. When that goes public, when that goes on display, it's called in the Bible the glory of God. His glory is the open revelation of the secret of His holiness. Here's Leviticus 10:3. I will show myself holy among those who are near me, and before all the people I will be glorified. I will show them my holiness, and their response, glorious. Because in the move from the intrinsic, infinite, eternal worth and perfection and purity and transcendent wonder of God, in the movement out, what we see is the radiance of God, and that's called glory in the Bible. The glory of God is the radiance of His holiness. This God has a name. Jesus. Jesus Christ. Incarnate Son of Man. Co-eternal with the Father. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was this God. Oh, the depth of the riches and the wisdom and the knowledge of God. How unsearchable are His judgments and how inscrutable are His ways. Who has ever known the mind of the Lord? or who has ever been his counselor, who has ever given to him a gift that he should be repaid. For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be glory, yes, glory forever and ever.